Jeff Rust with your Sports Center update. First on the Fan, number 23 Oregon's run in the Big Ten tournament comes to an end with a loss to number 7 Michigan State, ending an 8-game winning streak. Trailing by 10 at the half, they started the second half with an 11-2 run, closing it to 1, and then gave up a 15-0 run. 74-64 is your final. Nate Biddle, 22 points, 11 rebounds. TJ Bamba, the only other Duck in double figures with 11 points. Jace Richardson led the Spartans with 17. The Trailblazers in the middle of a nice little break as they are off until a Sunday matinee where they host the Raptors. Blazers are 28-39 on the season, 5 games back of the final play-in spot with 15 left to play. They also own the league's 8th worst record. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reporting the Chiefs bringing back running back Kareem Hunt on a 1-year deal worth up to $2.5 million. Round 2 of the Players' Championship at the stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. And we've got a two-way tie at the top of the leaderboard. Minwoo Lee, Akshay Bhatia, both in the clubhouse after rounds of 6 under 66. They are at 11 under overall. TJ Spawn all alone in third place at 10 under par. Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa tied for 4th at 9 under. Scotty Scheffler, Ricky Fowler tied for 15th at 5 under par. Sepp Straka 3 under, and Jordan Spieth is 2 under par. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new black 1080 The Fan hoodie, as well as classic long and short sleeve tees. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com. This is Danny and Dusty.
Meringatang is going to be a thing.
You're not coining anything new.
With Danny Meringue and Dusty, the Fan Man Hera.
I'll throw some monkey sounds in there and call it good.
The old Danny Meringue pie?
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
The Fan.
Good afternoon! Hey, happy Friday! Danny and Dusty with you. How's everybody doing this fabulous Friday?
Oh, we're basketballing, baby.
Basketballing so hard. There's a lot of really good games today.
So much good basketball already. I love it.
Already?
I love it. I love it.
Okay. All right.
I mean, we're at noon, and we've got, tight games here in Auburn, Ole Miss. You've got Wichita State, Memphis. Wisconsin, UCLA is not going to be close.
See, Danny right now is that Dave Chappelle meme gif where he's just scratching his nut. Y'all got any more of that college basketball?
Yeah. Because that Wichita State-Memphis game is what everybody is clamoring over.
No, man.
Penny Hardaway.
Look, man, give me good basketball. Give me good basketball. I'm in.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah, my wife's out of town and no Blazers game last night. So I was Will Ferrell. I don't know what to do with my hands. All day yesterday. I had no
whatever you want.
Yeah, and it was so weird.
I don't want to go there.
You want. I don't either.
No.
I don't think. I think a lot of people are just like, yeah. I think we have a good. Well, it's very Will Ferrell, just in your whitey tighties, just walking around, and that's it.
I wish I had a drum set still.
Why are you all sweaty? Been watching Cops.
Oh, okay.
I am soft
sense.
launching getting a drum set again, and my wife is like,
I agree with that. I agree with your wife on this one.
Yeah.
I have a soundproof studio.
You
That
think
that is a detached building.
You think.
It is not
Until
attached to my house.
until you're playing drums in there.
This is also a soundproof studio, and I hear what goes on outside.
Yeah. We hear a lot. This is a legitimate professional soundproof walls. You can hear still what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. You can still hear that.
Yeah.
You know. You're still gonna do it, aren't you?
Gonna do it.
Yeah, you're still gonna do it.
I've played drums for like 25 years, and I haven't had a kit now for 4 or 5 years. I don't like it.
But why?
I love it.
You just want to play the drums.
I just want to look. If I won the lottery today, one of the first things I would do would, like, whatever house I got, I would build a massive music studio.
Yeah, that's something that does not. I'm just not musically inclined. I never have been.
Yeah.
That just doesn't. My whole thing is, but why?
But why?
But
Yeah.
why? But why? For your one-man band? Are you going to form a band?
I mean, I probably would.
Are you?
I'd probably go on the road.
You playing?
I'd go full Dolan.
No, I don't think you're going on the road. I could see Danny playing in a band that.
Oh,
is at
Dan will be in a
local
band. Yeah,
bars.
go down, play at Wanker's Corner.
Yeah, yeah.
I did the cover band thing when I was in the Air Force.
See, this is all making sense now. What was your? What bands were you covering?
It was just a lot of different rock bands. It was it's kind of whatever.
All right.
We throw some freaking Creed in there, some Seven Dust, some oldies, some new stuff. But it was 5 of us that we just all jammed together.
What was your cover band name?
We literally cannot say them on air. We changed them every time we played at a different place.
And they were all inappropriate.
Oh God, yes.
That's great for brand recognition too.
I mean, well, here's the thing.
Well,
When
actually-
we didn't disclose it, and if you don't disclose something that earns you income in the military, you get in trouble. So
Okay.
we just, yeah.
I mean, the flip side of that is that, there's could be people who recognize the band and they're like, I don't want to see that again. But then they walk in, they're like, wait a minute.
Gotcha.
I've seen this. No. This is not Danny's Grundle. It is.
hey, I know that, dude.
I've seen these guys before. The drummer got so drunk he fell off his chair last week. I've seen him before.
It happens.
Was the chair in a helicopter?
Yeah.
He threw his drumstick at me.
What's funny is I didn't actually play drums then. I wasn't actually our drummer then.
What were you?
I was lead guitar and then singer.
Oh.
We got our own little Dave Grohl over here.
Sing higher for me.
Not a chance.
Come on.
No.
You said you sang Creed.
Nope. You got it. Well, you got to warm up.
I'm gonna take you higher.
You got the right idea.
Let's go then.
See, you're doing it too far back. It's more in the front.
Yeah.
Can
on.
you take me higher?
There we go.
Dude, we need to have you play. You need to sound the horn, get out the conch shell, anchorman this thing, reassemble the band, and you need to sing at the fan golf classic this year.
So we're having a rap party for the TV show, and we're doing it at a karaoke bar, and it's going to get very bad.
All right.
So I'll get a little warm up then.
I like this.
It's funny. My 13-year-old told us she wants to learn how to play the drums or the guitar, and so we were like, "Okay, guitar it is."
Oh, dude, I got my niece a guitar for her 8th birthday, and my sister looked at me and went, "I hate you so much."
Nah, that's not that bad. Drums are the worst.
I got her a
dude.
ukulele last year.
We got my nephew drums years ago, and then
the
my
way to-
sister tried to give them to
you?
us. I was like, not a chance.
Here's what you do. You so
Not
when
a
I first got
chance.
my kid, I was 10, 11 years old. You get the pads, not the electric pads, because those are weird. But you get the big foam pads for them, and it takes so much sound out of it. Like it's really not that loud.
Yeah.
I'll
Take your word for it. My kids won't play the drums.
We're
going through hot cross buns right now. It's
the
recorder time.
Oh God,
We got the recorder going. Yep. We got the recorder for music class, and my daughter has been playing the recorder. Can't wait for the month to be over.
What would you rather?
She's doing great, though.
Just
what
wait
would you
till B
rather
gets
have
a
her
hold of
stick
it.
with, the recorder or the violin?
My sister played the violin, and my parents made her practice in the garage.
I don't think there's an instrument that sounds worse starting than the violin. It sounds like you're skinning a cat.
Yeah.
It
That is true.
just horrendous.
It ain't good.
I played violin for 4 years. It's the one thing I wish I would have stayed with.
Really?
Yeah, that's the one instrument that I played that I was like, I probably should have stayed with that. It's just a lot of music theory and stuff that kind of comes off of that. That's useful.
Yeah.
My brother played the violin for like a year. Yeah. I was a saxophone kid
Yeah,
in
I
5th
did-
and 6th grade.
I did sax for 4 years.
yeah.
Drums, sax, violin, piano, guitar. What am I missing here? Clarinet, and I'm missing one. I'll think of it. Whatever.
That's my dad's old sax that he used when he was that age. So like, late 50s, early 60s.
And that was sax that you used, right?
Yes,
Sax.
sax.
Okay.
Nope.
Definitely don't want to use your dad's sex.
This is like I'm none of it. Play the piano. We had a piano.
Piano, man, dude. Piano's like it's one of the best things you can play
I did
because
piano too,
everything
yeah.
everything
I
goes
quit-
off of a piano.
I quit piano lessons after Mary had a little lamb.
Mm.
It was like deuces. I'm out.
What's weird is the first.
That was
full
about
song,
3 months.
I learned how to play the Hill Street Blues theme on my saxophone.
See, now that makes it all worthwhile.
Right?
Right?
Yeah. Did that at a recital.
Wow.
Yeah.
The first thing I ever learned how to play on
What were
on
you
the piano
dressed?
was
What were you dressed in? How were you dressed for that?
I'm going to guess probably like a polo shirt and maybe some parachute pants, some jeans, I'm guessing.
Well,
I don't think I was quite at the spiky hair level yet. I think I was still bowl cut probably.
Okay.
Ooh, there you go.
I was thinking of like you had a blazer with the sleeves rolled up and like, you know what I'm saying?
It may
like
have been a
tee-
full-on button-down shirt, but I don't think I went blazer at that point.
That
no.
would have been great.
Yeah.
Little Rust with his saxophone sleeves rolled up on the blazer, sitting there.
Yeah.
You know, Hill Street Blues in it. That's a visual.
Right?
I like that.
First song I ever learned to play on the piano was the Beverly Hills Cop theme song.
That was the first song.
The first full song that I learned how to play. And
Little Axel F.
a little do 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 do.
Harold Faltermeyer, I believe.
That was
That's right.
weird.
Same guy as Fletch.
I had a
had
no,
some
they did a lot in
bangers
that.
in the
Yeah,
80s.
yeah. Look, those 80s synthesizer moments.
He was like the Danny Elfman of the time.
yes, or Alan Silvestri, if you will. But the next song I learned how to play was the main song to Beauty and the Beast. And I had an interesting piano teacher, and I could still play them both from memory because they were beat into my head like some sort of like conditioning.
Huh.
Very strange.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's talk music.
There you go.
Harold Faltermeyer, by the way, Fletch, Beverly Hills Cop, Top Gun.
Oh,
Top Gun theme
Daddy,
song.
that is a hell of a trio right there.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
not Danger Zone.
No, that's Kenny
No, that's
Loggins.
Kenny Loggins.
But that's,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, so, you know,
Also, Tango and Cash.
Ooh.
Right?
damn.
And Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, they brought him back.
They dusted him off.
There you
huh?
go.
Along with Hans Zimmer and Lady Gaga. Damn. Harold Faltermeyer. A name we all should know more,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Under the radar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ooh, The Running Man, too? What?
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Good old Dick Dawson as the game show host.
Yeah, man. Dude, he did just banger after bangers. I mean, then he had like Jack Orlando. I don't even know what that is.
I got nothing.
I bet the soundtrack's awesome. All right, let's sport. Ooh, we have a professional violinist listening. I agree. It's the hardest system to start on kids. The Japanese have a system that starts students when they're 2 years old, probably before their ears are fully developed. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Huh. There are businesses downtown that pipe in classical music to keep the homeless away. I did not know that.
Wait, so the Japanese are teaching their 2-year-olds to play the violin. Meanwhile, mine was rubbing her poop on the wall.
It's called a finger painter.
Yeah, it's an artiste.
That's in the arts.
It's like you have no idea how many nail holes in our walls are filled by poop and not spackle.
What's that smell?
Resale value on that home is going to be amazing.
No matter
another-
what we do,
another
we
fresh
can't
coat of paint
seem-
over that.
Yeah, you can't seem to get this weird funk out of the wall. I don't know what it is.
Wow.
my
Yeah, dude, they'll start them young in Japan.
I mean,
Bananas.
my wife and I we've talked about this because she's not musically inclined at all, and she's like, "What do you think we should do?" I'm like, "We should have our kids start an instrument like 3-4 years old, like incredibly early. Because if you do start it early, it's not just about the instrument; it's a development thing. Like if you're going to learn a language and like learn like Latin roots or something along those lines, if you do that, there's a bunch of studies out there that show that if you start learning like advanced math young, you're more likely to be more successful with it because you're more likely to understand those kind of principles if you do them way earlier.
Well, even learning those instruments at such a young age, it helps develop like with your manual dexterity.
Oh, and pattern recognition and things like that.
Fine motor. All right.
And then you go to band camp and then you do weird stuff.
No, you can go basketball camp.
Like what, Danny?
Yeah, Danny.
Do you have an example?
Yeah, Danny.
Just probably a lot of flautists out there.
Do drugs, Danny. All right, coming up on today's program, it's Cooper Cup Day, apparently. We're going to find out where Cooper Cup is going. It's down to 2, and one team apparently is out already. So we got that going for us.
There was one.
I don't know if that is much of a decision that we're making.
Highlander?
Steph hit the 4,000th three-pointer of his career. Is he responsible for changing the game more than any other player? Think of Steph's impact, and what players would fall into that category. But where we got to start, the Big Ten tournament, chalk. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Check out
Big Ten's number 1 overall seed, the Michigan State Spartans, sent the Oregon Ducks packing in Indianapolis this morning. 74-64, as heard right here on the Fan.
Indeed.
Sparty rolls, the number 7 team in the country, looking like they're going to be a 2 seed in the tourney, but could they be a team that moves into the 1 line due to the injury to Cooper Flagg?
Indeed.
What is going to happen? That Michigan State team, all season long, they've been really damn good.
They're just methodical, and the big part of that is that Jace Richardson, who wasn't great out of the gate, has become great. He has launched himself into a firm lottery position. For those that don't know, Jace Richardson, son of Jason Richardson, former NBA player for the Suns and Warriors, very explosive athlete. His son is a little bit smaller, not quite as bouncy as Dad. Dad, I think, had a 47-inch vertical, if I remember right. He was a dunking monster, but he has become electric off the bounce on his jumper. And it looks so pretty because he's left-handed. It's just fun to watch him play. But as he has started to figure this out, Izzo's got a group again. That's really what this comes down to.
That team has every marker of a Tom Izzo team that is a Final Four team or an Elite Eight team, teams that make the deep runs. They're balanced offensively. They don't rely on one guy to score. They don't need to rely on one guy to score. They are suffocating defensively, physical as hell, and they just kind of put you in the blender for 40 minutes. And that is so hard to do, and so few coaches can get a team to collectively buy in and do that. But this Michigan State team, it looks like that's who they are. And that's a scary team in the regular season, a scary team come tournament time. But oftentimes what we see is that those types of teams, a la Tom Thibodeau coach teams, they run out of gas. And will this Michigan State team run out of gas? That's going to be the big question. But they do play a deeper rotation than a lot of the teams that do this, because the teams that like to play this way in this style, they'll only play like 7 guys, and they're going to say, we're going to run our guys into the ground. Today, you saw 10 guys play for Michigan State. And that's who they are, man.
Yeah, and there's something else that kind of comes along with this. Jeremy Fears, not to be confused with Jeremiah Fears, who is at Oklahoma and will be a lottery pick point guard. But Jeremy Fears is a sophomore point guard for them, and there's some real floor general stuff to him. Just taking, I knew he was still right around there. He's fallen off ever so slightly. He's no longer top 5 in the nation in assist rate. He's 7th. He is a guy. He is basically a 40% assist rate. Like, he is. When you look at college basketball teams, Purdue's Braden Smith won the Big Ten Player of the Year. He's number 1 in the nation in assist rate. Like, when you have these guys, when you talk about markers for teams that can make runs, upperclassmen, 3-point shooting, point guard play, rebounding. And when you kind of highlight those, you look at Purdue, Braden Smith, Mo Odom is second in NCAA basketball in assist rate. And again, keep kind of one of those guys in your head. Ryan Nembhard is 5th at Gonzaga. Zakai Ziegler at Tennessee is 6th. Like, in Michigan State, when Tom Izzo has one of those kind of point guards, you kind of start going back to the Mateen Cleaves era, and you're like, oh, yeah, they do pretty good with those types. And now he's got a backcourt between him and Jace Richardson, who is incredibly electric. And unfortunately for the Ducks, they ran into a Michigan State team that is, like you said, incredibly aggressive defensively. They get after you. And Jackson Shelstead had a bad day. Biddle was able to control and be incredibly dominant, but nobody else in the perimeter could get going.
I think that loss is, we talked about this yesterday, losing a game before the tournament. Like, Oregon had won 8 in a row. That's a heater that the Ducks were on. You cool off, get to regroup, and stay a little bit more fresh, and then you got the tourney, and they have the markers of team that will play really tough in the tournament. Final 5 minutes of the half, final 5 minutes of the game, that's where they thrive. And if Shelstad, stays cold, that'll be a problem.
Yeah, that's
the reality
one,
is he hasn't.
The kind of bugaboo for Oregon is there is a little mild streakiness to their 3-point shooting, and because they aren't a great
mildness, that's very light. You're putting that.
Yeah, well, I would say over the last 15 games, they've been significantly more consistent from 3 than prior to that, because it was. Ugh.
I think I saw somebody say that Michigan was the 339th ranked three-point shooting team in the country.
Michigan or Michigan State?
Michigan State.
There's some volatility to them for sure, and you're really not. You don't really have anybody outside of Jace Richardson who's going to get them up in volume.
And they came out today and shot 46.7%.
But again, it was only 15 attempts. That's the thing. Like, but the difference there is the 29 free throws. They doubled up Oregon from the line
They're
because
so physical.
they just get downhill and they've got real dudes.
Something to keep an eye on, though, as it pertains to Oregon now being bounced out of the Big Ten tournament and where their seeding is going to be. Oregon may be one of the teams that gets bounced a line up or down based on how far BYU goes. Okay? BYU won yesterday in the Big 12 tournament. They play number 2 Houston. Okay? The problem with BYU is that they cannot play on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen this before, that teams will get bumped up or down a line to try and get BYU on a Thursday, Saturday.
Yep.
And so that is like one of those, just play on Sundays, right? But obviously you're not going to tell the Mormon Church no on that one. Kind of a big one.
Yeah.
So Oregon's line could be affected based on how far BYU goes, because if they get to the point where they are a 4 seed, there could be a team that gets bumped down, and Oregon could get their seeding a little bit wonky there based on what happens with BYU.
Right now,
not saying that it would, but there's a possibility, because in almost everywhere you look, they're both either 4s or 5 seeds.
Right now, Lenardi has them as a 5 seed, and here's what would be great for them in this instance. They would be in the South region, but they would open up in Seattle.
Yeah.
So they basically have a
they'll
quasi-home game.
Yeah. And that's what they try to make you regionalized. And the other Seattle, I think the Seattle region, I was looking at this the other day.
Oregon, Arizona.
Lenardi had it would be Oregon, UC San Diego, which is that's actually a really fun team if you haven't been following along. Arizona, Lipscomb, Ole Miss, Liberty, Purdue, and Akron would all be coming out west. So that would be the Seattle pod.
That's a pretty good group. It's a pretty good group.
Yeah, there's going to be some really good teams up there, if that is in fact where the Ducks end up falling. I mean, you probably have a lot of Husky fans that are just going to go and boo Oregon just because. Yeah. But that's what you sign up for.
Sure.
Huh? They're not going to be playing in the tournament, so they got to have something to do. They were bad this year. So everything in the Big Ten tournament, though, to this point, has been straight chalk. That could be changing, though, as the 5th-seeded Wisconsin Badgers have a lead over the 4-seed UCLA Bruins right now.
Just going to sneak right past you here. Oh.
What?
Just going to sneak right past you here.
Oh, don't you know?
Oh.
Excuse me there.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't mean to ruffle your feathers there. But 1 through 8 all advance to the quarterfinals. 1 beats the 8 seed in Oregon today. So all chalk so far in the Big Ten tournament.
Oh, we have surrender Cobras. We have real worry going on here as Wichita State has closed the gap now. It's 3-point game with Memphis with 26 seconds to go.
So go Shockers, huh?
Like I told you, man, this was shaping up to be a good game.
Go Shockers. All right, 503-864-6326. That be the Fan text line. Give us a text. Get your voice heard right here on 1080 The Fan. We had some beef yesterday between the newest Seahawk and a former teammate of his. Can everybody be wrong?
Mm-hmm.
But also everybody be right as
Yep.
well? Yeah, we'll get to that after Russ with SportsCenter.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, indeed, number 23 Oregon's run in the Big Ten tournament coming to an end with a loss to number 7 Michigan State, ending an 8-game winning streak. They trailed by 10 at the half, started half number 2 with an 11-2 run. That closed it to 1 point and then gave up a 15-0 run. 74-64 is your final. Nate Biddle, 22 points, 11 boards. TJ Bamba, the only other Duck in double figures with 11 points. Jace Richardson led the Spartans with 17. Trailblazers still on a nice little respite as they are off until a Sunday matinee where they host the Raptors at Moda Center. Portland 28-39 on the season, 5 games back of the play-in with 15 games left to play. They also own the 8th worst record in the league. Round 2 of the Players' Championship at the Stadium Course at TPC Sawgrass, and Minwoo Lee and Akshay Bhatia are in the clubhouse. They are at 11 under par overall, 1 stroke clear of JJ Spawn. Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa are tied for 4th at 9 under overall. Scotty Scheffler, Ricky Fowler tied for 16th at 5 under. Sepp Straka 4 under par. Jordan Spieth is 1 under through, he's 1 over on the day through 6 holes, leaving him at 1 under par. And Justin Rose at even par after a 1 over 73. That leaves him right on the cut line. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Live, local, and free. No subscription required. Portland's sports leader is 1080 The Fan.
We got some bickering going on here between, well, Danny and Russ during the break, but also two former teammates, DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, two former Cowboys. I don't think this one is.
No.
We'll get to you two in a minute.
Okay. That one's all love.
We'll get to that one in a minute. That does need to be discussed. But DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, former teammates in the Big D, they traded barbs via social media after DeMarcus Lawrence, the newest Seahawk, did a short video with Hawks Blogger on social medias, and he had this to say.
You know, Dallas is my home. I made my home there. You know, my family lives there. You know, I'm forever going to be there, but, you know, I know for sure I'm not going to win a Super Bowl there, so.
Hey-oh! Now he's in Seattle. That led to an exchange on Twitter where Micah Parsons, that man is like, he's like a spiritual deity on social media. He's like always present.
Yeah.
He's always around on social media. I don't know how he finds the time to do this.
I'm sure people send stuff to him, but beyond that, when you're just waiting around to sign your contract, you got time.
Yep. He responded to that with a quote tweet that said, "This what rejection and envy look like. This some clown bleep doo-doo. Some clown doo-doo." To which DeMarcus Lawrence said, No. Calling me a clown won't change the fact I told the truth. Maybe if you spent less time tweeting and more time winning, I wouldn't have left.
Yikes, dog.
Girl, you something else.
Yikes. Holy smokes. Gathering, those two don't like each other. Is that fair?
Sure.
Yeah.
It is undeniable, which means it can't be denied.
They don't think they got along too well together.
Look, man, there's plenty of this stuff in locker rooms. Not everybody loves each other, especially when you're talking about in the NFL. There's just so many more guys and so many more personalities and so much more stuff. And it's look, I'm in NBA locker rooms all the time. I've been lucky the last couple of years in Portland that everybody pretty much vibe with each other. Now, Covington and CJ might have killed each other, or were about to kill each other at one point in time, but that's the last time something got real sideways.
So last time the Blazers were good.
Yeah. But I mean, they've prioritized like making sure they got good dudes that are, you know, on the most part, they're good dudes.
Yeah.
Now they probably need a little introduction of some volatility in that locker room.
Everybody needs a little crazy.
You just need to have the right kind of crazy that meshes well. But this is the kind of thing where this almost feels like this is something that's been brewing for a while. This doesn't seem like
No.
You know what I mean? You don't. If Lawrence says this on the way out, it's like, yeah, dude, we all know it. And it's water off a duck's back. But the Parsons responding publicly makes me think that there's more to this.
No, I think it just might be who Micah Parsons is. Like, he's just social media lives on there. Instead of shooting a text to him, he just said, no, I'll do it here.
Yeah.
And knowing that he would see it and probably get a response out of it. I found this to be, both of these guys can be right and wrong at the same time. You know? Like, DeMarcus Lawrence is right. Like,
that team's nowhere close to a Super Bowl. Not even close to the playoffs.
And, he left because he was like, we don't have a shot to win a Super Bowl. I'm out. You're totally right. They're not winning a Super Bowl in Dallas anytime soon.
Neither are the Seahawks.
But that is where he's also wrong. He is totally wrong in that. That's why he went to Seattle. Seattle isn't close to winning a Super Bowl.
No, you went there because they gave you the money that Dallas literally could not give you because they have no money to give you.
Yeah.
Which I don't begrudge you, but just say you wanted the whole Myles Garrett thing. I want to go win a Super Bowl. I want to go where I can compete. I want to go where I can win. I mean, everybody has for everybody who fights back against that, it's like, oh, he said that, blah, 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 blah. Everybody has a price. If you're going to get paid as the highest paid non-quarterback in the league, look, I've had these discussions with professional athletes that when you have these earning windows, very, 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 very few people are going to take less than the max amount of money they can get because it's gone like that. And it was like, well, once you get $25 million, how much more do you need? Think about your job. if somebody offered you more money to go somewhere else and the money was crazy, wouldn't you go do it no matter how much you loved your job? Most of you, the answer is yes. And are you going to take less so that your company can be better because you get to work with your friends? There's a few of you that will say yes. But the whole idea of like this
I think professional sports are different, though, in that
They are.
if you
They are.
win
I'm not making a one-to-one
No. But if
comparison.
you win a championship, like you're not winning a championship at your job.
No,
right?
they're not
like,
one-to-one.
But if you win a championship, your earning potential goes up exponentially.
It can, depending on where you are in your career, certainly. If you're an older guy, Lawrence is what, 33?
Martellus Bennett said it, man. He said it best. He goes, when he won a Super Bowl with the New England Patriots, he said, dude, you get a ring, you get paid. And he goes, that's why I came here. And he played on the cheap, and he won a Super Bowl, and he left, and he got a lot of money to leave. Like,
But
that's
if
that's
you get the
kind of-
money without getting the ring, that's also a pathway.
Yeah.
Which is
and
what Myles Garrett and Lawrence to a lesser extent have done.
that's not what Myles Garrett said today. Myles Garrett did not. He said, no, he is all about winning. It's not about the money with him.
Yeah. You were just seeking a trade, and then you took $40 million a year guaranteed.
Yeah, because that's going to make him win Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's winning, all right.
That'll do it.
He's winning
That'll do it.
in the bank account.
But also in this Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence conversation, Micah Parsons also wrong in that this is what rejection and envy look like. I don't think he is envious of the situation Dallas is in. I don't think anybody in football is envious of the situation Dallas is in
I
right
think
now.
maybe that's all just projection.
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe, and that's why I'm saying.
And so both of these guys are completely wrong.
I think that it might be more than just
But right.
this comment, but I think that there's probably a little bit of an outstanding beef here that maybe there were some people in that locker room that felt like Micah wanting all this money on top of CD, on top of Dak is part of the reason why that they couldn't go get it. And Micah probably feels a certain sort of way about it of like, well, I earned the X, and he did. And
Micah Parsons deserves it more than Dak Prescott.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
But I think that
Well,
that's
even Josh Allen came out and said, hey, will me taking all this extra money, hurt us and getting other guys? And so that's why he said, hey, I'm not concerned about beating Dak's, average.
Just the guaranteed money.
Well,
Yeah. Okay. I'll only take $250 million guaranteed. All right. Just $250 million. That's all I'm taking.
no
though.
big deal.
He's still, what, $5 million a year less on average?
Yeah. On average. Yeah. But look, I'm drawing the line at $250 million,
Yeah.
guys. Okay. That's it.
I'll take one for the team
Yeah,
at a quarter bill.
I'll take a little haircut.
You know?
$250 billion.
Do you guys know what that money, $250 million in Buffalo, it doesn't go the same as it does. Oh, wait, it does. More so than anywhere else in the NFL, with exception of maybe Green Bay.
Yeah, man, you probably live like a god out there.
Dude, he can convert like a 20,000 square foot old steel mill into a mansion.
Yeah.
Just buy the neighboring town and call it Josh Allenville.
Yeah, ooh.
Ooh, that is true. Upstate New York probably does have an Allenville, or Western New York has an Allenville. There's an
I guess maybe
Allenville,
Josh
New York.
Allentown, since they're close to
It does.
Pennsylvania.
That kind of rolls off the tongue.
Allenapolis.
No, I mean just the front, the first and last.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allenville.
Mm-hmm.
All one word.
I'm sure Billy Joel would love it if there was a Josh Allentown in New York.
Mm.
He had a song called Allentown, but
Yeah.
that's Pennsylvania.
I gave you a little.
It's okay. You went more of the deep cuts,
Oh,
but it plays
Deep.
on a Yacht Rock Friday.
Yacht Rock Friday.
Allowed.
It all plays.
Allowed. I like this bickering though. It's what we.
Jerry Dallas.
Oh my God! Yeah, you wonder why they're not going to win a Super Bowl in Dallas. This orbit of them is why.
It's not like we traded Luca.
Yeah. That would be the greatest. Is if the next move that Jerry Jones made is just like, it's not Luca. All right, what do you want us to do? Or he's gonna at some point, mark my words, Jerry Jones will justify the salary cap hell, whether it's Ezekiel Elliott's contract that kind of got them jump-started this situation that they're in right now, or the Dak contract. He will say those two guys, one of them was just as beloved as Luka Doncic, and he didn't want to have that on his conscience is that Dallas Cowboys fans would have been devastated without either one of those guys. When reality is, I think all Cowboys fans are like, no, man. No,
It's all good.
neither one of those guys is Luka Doncic. Neither one. They're not even close.
No.
You could combine their skill sets together, and they're still not as valuable as Luka.
It would be like the inverse of it would be the Cowboys trading for Herschel Walker instead of trading away Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
That's the closest comparison you can make in that world as it pertains to the Cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah.
An older, past his prime, over the hill, but still very good player in Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
And then assets that became Irvin, Aikman, and Smith.
Oof. Way to go, Cowboys. I'm glad I'm picking up what DeMarcus Lawrence is putting down here. And as this texture points out on the fan text line, they don't have an offense, but the Hawks D is going to be legit. They will be. They'll be good.
They'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Under Kings. They're gonna hit the unders. Who knows though? It's Cooper Cup day. They very well could get Cooper Cup. All right. Now to you two beefing. Like you guys are DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons over here. All right. Why Danny's panties got in a wad over something Russ said. Next, Danny and Dusty on the Fan. All right, last break, Danny and Rust were over here yelling at each other.
To be fair, it's mostly me just yelling at Russ.
Yeah, because the YouTube chat where I did tweet, and I think it is accurate for today, I said YouTube is where it gets weird on a Friday. It got weird, and it is getting weird on a Friday. Kirk on the YouTube, he said, Blazers finish 8th worst in awesome season, and Mark Stein reports Blazers' interest in Chauncey long-term. Rust asked the question, hey, is that real?
It's real in this. The Blazers' interest in the long term it's not an accurate portrayal of the report from Mark Stein.
Mm-hmm.
The report from Mark Stein is that there are questions around the NBA is would the Blazers be interested in Chauncey Billups long term? And the answer is maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
And Rust, make the noise that you made, because you didn't say a word. Make the noise that you made when Danny said that.
I forget what it was, but it was something probably along the lines of...
That's it. That was it right there. You made that noise, and then Danny lost his ass on Rust.
Yeah. I felt attacked. Thank God there's glass in between us here.
And here's why. I do not think Chauncey is... I have literally told Chauncey to his face, I don't think you're the best coach in the league. There's still some things that you do that I disagree with.
What a bold claim.
No, but I mean, I go, look, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
I go, but you've improved, and these guys have bought in.
Yeah.
No,
that is 100% true, and that's something that
it's not something every coach in the league can do. It's a real thing.
There's a lot that the fans have said about Chauncey Billups, and a lot of it has been fair, but some of it has been unfair because the context is lacking so much.
They're still talking about year 1 and 2, Chauncey. It's a difference.
Well, there's so much context that is lacking because they gave Chauncey Billups the job with Damian Lillard as his star player. That was his first time ever being a head coach. Then they said, okay, we are handing you this loaded gun. Right before his first season, they said, we are going to take the clip out.
Yeah. Well, Neil gets fired.
You have no bullets to fire this gun with because they stripped it down and it became a rebuild. And so they took a first-year head coach, which the idea of him was to don't rock the boat, essentially do what he's doing the last 3 months, which is keep guys going, motivated, playing on a day-to-day, developing the defensive end of the floor in a defensive mentality with guys that they knew were offensive-minded players, right? That was why they brought him in. And then they strip it down to the studs and give him a roster that there is not a coach in the NBA that could have won with because they weren't even trying to win, and they weren't even hiding the fact they weren't trying to win. What we've seen over the last few months, though, is you're seeing a coach who he had to pivot the way that he coached, which he was learning on the fly because he'd only been an assistant for a year, and he has started to squeeze that talent out of guys. Are they good? No. Does he make mistakes? Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does. But I don't think he deserves the rap that a lot of Blazer fans give him. He, like you said in your bold comment, he's not the best coach in the NBA.
No.
But he's far cry from the worst coach in the NBA. A far cry. And he's done a lot to get this team to the point where now fans are mad that they're winning too many games. And which one do you want?
The whole criticism of he put Scoot on the bench. He put Shaden on the bench. He put 2 on the bench. Rah, rah, rah. Every single guy that he has said, I need you to be better, has been better. He has gotten through to these guys. He has got them to give a damn about the stuff that's not only important to the organization right now, but is going to be important to those players going forward.
Yeah. He
has a level of respect and a rapport and a communication with those guys that a lot of coaches in the league don't have. And I said this when he was still struggling early on.
Yeah.
Look, man, the X's and O's stuff, some of the finer point stuff, he's still got to work through. He's got to get better at it. There's no doubt about that. But even then, I said this same damn thing. He gets through to these guys. They respect him. They play hard for him. And, it was hard to see in the day-to-day when you're watching games as opposed to being there every day and seeing behind the scenes kind of what was going on when they're losing by 60. And I fully get that. But do I think that they're going to bring him back? No.
Nah.
But here's what's changed. They're going to have a discussion.
Yeah.
They're going to
They
have a
should.
discussion.
And
And they
that's fair.
should.
They should.
And that's fair.
Yeah. Remember he almost took remember that report last year? He almost took the Phoenix job. There was a report out there before they hired Budenholzer.
Kevin Durant and Devin Booker both pushed hard.
That's crazy.
Before they hired Budenholzer. So Budenholzer had basically, behind the scenes, had for the most part taken the job, and he was putting a staff together. And when KD and Book heard, they were like, no, we want CB.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to make overtures and tried to make that happen. But Ishbia was going to go with Budenholzer, and that was and James Jones. That was the call they were going to make. Now, there's been reports out there. John Gambadoro, who does radio in Phoenix, has said that if they do fire Bud, which I very much think is going to happen, that they want to go to a coach that has a good relationship with players.
All right.
So,
well,
for what it's worth, that's certainly out there.
I don't know if giving Kevin Durant and Devin Booker exactly what they want is the best idea, though.
Well, I would imagine Kevin Durant will not be a part of that going forward.
Yeah. Well, Matt Ishbia said there's one guy who won't be traded. Devin Booker. Definitely not.
Yes, the old vote of confidence and committing to each other.
Well,
never seen that happen before.
You never know.
Well, yeah, when you have to publicly say that, it definitely means things are going great.
It is, yeah. That means things are going swimmingly. All right, so that's why you yelled at Rust. That was fun for me.
Yeah.
I just sat there.
See, now, my thing is, I've made it clear from Jump Street that I was not a fan of the hire originally.
It'd be 21.
Yeah, 21. And then 22. Yeah. I didn't like... Because he was brought here on a team that had Damian Lillard as its leader, and we were expected to still be trying to contend or push to contend, right?
Yes.
And because I'm wearing a jersey.
You are.
Sorry. And part of it, what I didn't like about that whole situation was that they held on to Neil Olshey so long, and we knew that he was a lame duck, yet they still let him hire his buddy, and then they go and fire Neil. So now we're here with Chauncey, with a guy who is mainly a TV personality with 1 year of experience on a bench. I thought that was
a Hall of Fame NBA playing resume.
Yes. Well, great. Same with Magic Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Chauncey Billups better than Magic Johnson.
Yeah. Yes.
But anyway, and then the Blazers pivoted, changed direction.
Yeah.
And so we go through the last 3 years, which is unfortunate because with all of that turmoil and turnover and just outright tanking, we still didn't really know what we had with Chauncey as a coach.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think Chauncey knew
No
what he
idea.
had as a coach, because that's the thing is, like, as a coach, you just have to get the experience.
And so
unless you're so bad out of the gate, a la Milwaukee with what happened there and Doc being brought in, when it's that bad, that's when you're like, okay, we need to pull this plug immediately.
Well, and so we get to this season where, still supposed to be a tankopotamus, and we get to... There seems to be a little bit relying too much on the veterans. I know we're up against it here, so I'll try to make it quick. Playing the vets like JG too much and still getting 36, 37, 38 minutes out of JG.
Because they won too much.
Well,
they're winning too much.
The whole point is to try to figure out what we got from the young guys. And I understand Danny's point in that they need to earn their spot out on the floor, but also, in my opinion, they need to be on the floor to be able to earn those spots. And we take the last couple months and they had that big burst, right? And to me, when it comes to using these last couple months as a snapshot, it's almost like looking at an NFL head coach or a college football head coach and basing their future on whether or not they win this next game or 2 games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they lose this one, they're fired. If they win, we're still in. You know what I mean?
I get you.
And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like, well, why is it all of a sudden now this? And if we do see this flurry from these young guys, then why is it not then time to go and find a coach that is a proven developer of young talent?
But I think that's the crux of the issue, is that he is proving to develop this talent
over these last couple months,
and they buy into what he is doing.
I'd say over
they
the
weren't
last
ready
2 years.
before, though.
Yeah, that's
they
the thing
weren't
is, like,
ready.
This idea, that, and again, I'm not hitting you with this, Russ, but like the idea that minutes equals development, it's not real. It's not.
Well, but there is still an argument that guys need live bullets.
Yeah. Okay. Let's pause this because we do need to. I'm producing now. Who's the captain now? I am. Let's pause this and we'll get to it on the other side. Danny Dusty on the Fan.
Hey, it's
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust here with your Sports Center update. First on the Fan, number 23 Oregon's run in the Big Ten tournament comes to an end with a loss to number 7 Michigan State, ending an 8-game winning streak. Trailing by 10 at the half, they start half number 2 with an 11-2 run. They close it to 1 point, only to give up a 15-0 run. 74-64 is your final. Nate Biddle, 22 points, 11 boards. TJ Bamba, the only other Duck in double figures with 11 points. Jace Richardson led Sparty with 17. Blazers still in the middle of a nice little break as they are off until a Sunday matinee where they host the Raptors at Moda Center. Portland 28-39 on the season, 5 games back of the play-in with 15 left to go. They also own the 8th worst record in the league. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reporting the Chiefs bringing back running back Kareem Hunt on a 1-year deal worth up to $2.5 million. Round 2 of the Players' Championship at the stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. And we've got Minwoo Lee and Akshay Bhatia at the top of the leaderboard, 11 under par overall. They are 1 stroke clear of JJ Spawn. Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa are tied for 4th at 9 under, 2 strokes off the pace. Scotty Scheffler, Ricky Fowler tied for 16th, 5 under par. Sepp Straka, 4 under par. Jordan Spieth is 1 under par. And Justin Rose sitting right at the cut line at even par overall. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
Portland, if you've ever wondered where to get your Blazers, Ducks, and Bees, it's right here on the airwaves of 1080. 1080 The Fan with Danny and Dusty. It's Danny and Dusty and Rust from noon till 3.
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Friday afternoon. Thanks for being a part of our day, letting us be a part of yours. All right, we went way over on the last one because Danny yelled at Rust. Rust was crying in the corner. I was crying because I was just sad.
Just over there in the fetal position, sucking my thumb.
We were talking about Chauncey Billups, his future, and kind of what has happened with the Blazers. And, now there could be a return of Chauncey Billups. Danny, you said it. It's still unlikely, the idea that Chauncey Billups, who entered this year as a lame duck coach without a contract extension, would return as the Blazers head coach. But with the way that they have played, the players have developed, and
It has to be
the
a
buy-in that
consideration.
he has got from the players, organizationally, you take a look at it and you say, all right, is it in our best interest to part ways with the guy who is starting to get the talent squeezed out of the players that we've given him?
You have to explore that option at minimum. You have to do the work case for it. The flip side of this is I see some people like, I want a good young coach that's proven. I'm like, that doesn't exist. Proven and young don't exist. You're either tested or you're young and promising.
Yeah.
There's no proven young coach. That's not a thing that happens in sports in general, but basketball specifically. Like there's names out there like David Adelman, who's an assistant coach and obviously the son of a former Blazers head coach Rick Adelman.
And former Lincoln High School head coach.
There you go. Royale Ivy, who works on the Rocket staff and coaches Sudan. Tomas, God, I can never remember his name, is the assistant that's helped develop the offense for the Memphis Grizzlies. None of them are proven.
No.
They're not like the whole idea of like, I want somebody to come in and be proven and young and interesting and like, no, you either get proven and old, meaning they've been on a bench and they have the head coaching experience, or you take a chance on a young assistant, the Mark Dagnalls of the world, and you hope it works out. More often than not, those guys usually need to go to a few stops before they figure it out.
There is not a coach that is successful with the roster that Chauncey Billups was handed his first couple of
You could have
years.
handed that to Spoelstra, and they would have probably won maybe 5 more games. Like it's not feasible.
And that's an issue. And for a guy like Chauncey Billups in a lame duck year, he's coaching his ass off because he's coaching for the next job, right? And that may be what kind of you look at the big difference between the first couple of years and then this year. There was the security of develop. We're not trying to win. Literally, we are not going to try to win. And everybody will be shut down. And then it's this year. He's like, dude, screw this. We're just going to try to win as many games as we possibly can. Because that's in my best interest. That's in the players' best interest. I don't care what the organization wants to do because organizations tank, players, coaches don't.
Do not.
Right. But so is that also what you want your head coach to say is, I don't care what's in the organization's best interest?
if you're in your lame duck year, and the idea is we don't want you back, so we're not going to give you an extension, probably.
So,
and so like
and listen, and
organizationally,
that's not entirely on him. That's on the organization
No.
too.
No, yeah, that's right. That's right. We got text, bring back Stotts. Yeah, bring back the Tear Bear, huh? Let's go.
You can get some offense out of these guys. Get that offense humming again.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the defense may regress a little bit.
Well, look, and hey, if I remember correctly, that is a touch of a misnomer. That at least in his first handful of years here, he was at least top half in defense as a head coach, which,
Look, if Tumani Kamara is on his team, his defense will be better.
yeah.
That was a big
Super
problem.
useful.
Is that
If you got Donovan Klingen in the middle,
Yeah.
blocking the rim, his defense will
when
be
you
better.
said the first few years, that would be like when he had Wesley Matthews and Nick Batum. Yeah.
Yep.
And then it was like, hey, you know what the Blazers need? They need a Wes Matthews or a Nick Batum, and then they get, Tumani Kamara. So there we are. All right. Are we okay? Have you guys kissed and made up?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm good. We'll hug it out.
All right. I'm worried about.
Oh, we're good.
No, it is all good.
It's just like Ted Lasso. Got to have the memory of a goldfish, right?
To season 4, Ted Lasso coming back.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, he broke it on the New Heights podcast. Ted Lasso season 4 is being written right now.
Indeed.
He is going to coach a women's soccer team.
Oh.
Do.
I feel like season 4 should have been him going back to football.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Going back to football.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is a soccer show, so I get it.
Well, I mean, if we're being honest, it's a Jason Sudeikis show. But
Yeah. That show's awesome. I like it.
it is.
All right. Well, Steph Curry hit his 4,003 last night. That's a record, Bob.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever done that before.
That's up there with
That's 12,000 points off three-pointers alone.
When he hit 3,000, nobody had ever done that before.
this is Gretzky-esque.
Okay. Well,
It's never going to be touched.
let's talk about that because it's not just that stat is untouchable. What he has done for the game. Is he responsible for changing the game more than any player since blank? I want to find out who you think. I've got somebody in mind. Rust, you probably do. Text us 503-864-6326. Leave your comments in the YouTube section. Danny Dusty on the Fan. Steph Curry hit his 4,000th three-pointer last night. And that's an incredible mark when you think of the fact that that is 12,000 points alone off of three-pointers. Do you know how many points his dad, Dell, scored in the NBA?
11,000?
Dell Curry, who he played 16 years in the NBA, scored 12,670 points in his career. Mm-hmm. On three-pointers alone, his son is almost past him.
Well, the thing is, Dell Curry was a sharpshooter too.
Yeah.
In an era, like if Dell had played in an era where threes were getting up more frequently, he would have been more prolific.
Yeah.
But that's the unfortunate part of this is that he wasn't. He was also, he was a career, 12-point a game guy? Yeah.
And
so
that to me is why when you look at Steph Curry and what he has done in the game of basketball, Steph Curry has done more to change the game of basketball. Not the marketing part of it, the actual game and how it's played. He has changed it more than anybody since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, where they had the Lou Alcindor rule, where they outlawed dunking in college in 1967 because he was dunking too much. I mean, everybody started stepping back, and there were great shooters in the NBA, whether it is Dell Curry, Larry Bird, Mark Price, right? Terry Porter, for goodness sakes. These guys in sharp shooters and guys that he even played against. People like Ray Allen, right?
Yep.
But nobody changed the way that people just started stepping back further and further, and it was like, no, this is actually a part of the game.
And that's, there's a couple things here. One, just comparing Dell to Steph in their three-point attempt rate, basically the percentage of shots that they get up. Mm-hmm. Steph literally doubles him. Well, not literally. It's 53 to 27%. So 53% of Steph's shots in his career are threes. More than half his shots are threes. Three-point attempt rate. Okay, that number one, it shows how different he is. I agree. Steph has changed the game of basketball more than anyone because he can do something that anybody can do. Shoot.
Yep.
And
there have been prolific ones.
Yeah,
like Reggie Miller.
And it was the analytics kind of renaissance and the push for pace and space and 5 out and 3 being worth more than 2, all the things that kind of go with that. But the reason why it was this perfect culmination of circumstances is this idea of Steph is not only just getting them up, he's the best shooter in the history of the game. That's why it changed. Because there's been plenty of guys like, the Shakification of the NBA, reinforcing baskets and the hack a Shaq. Like, to me, Shaq is the next guy who changed the game. There's literally rules that are named after him in that sense because his physical dominance. But that's the separator, is that Steph does something that other people can convince themselves they can do.
Yeah, that's why I went with Kareem, is because there were plenty of guys who could dunk, but dunking was seen as flashy, and Kareem was like, no, it's efficient.
Yeah.
Like, and he went to not just dunking, but the sky hook as well of like, I'm already bigger than you. There's no way you're going to block this shot.
Yeah. But the thing is Steph, because he looks, what's funny is he looks on NBA court. Steph is huge. Steph's 6'4" and he's jacked. Like now he wasn't when he came in the league, a little tiny Davidson Steph, but Steph's a big dude. But because he looks quote unquote normal on a basketball court, people think they can do this. They look at LeBron James and like, nobody can do that. They look at Shaq, nobody can do that. They look at Wemby, nobody can do that. Zion, nobody can do that. Yep. Steph looks normal and attainable, and like, you can't go into a gym in this country right now and not find some kid wearing Steph Curry's doing some sort of snapback or step back 3 in a pickup game. And that's Steph Curry. That's what that is. And it's,
go watch youth basketball.
It is disgusting. Like, I have to, like, when I go out there and get some runs in, I have to like tell some guys like, hey, no, stop sprinting to the 3-point line and taking a 3 every freaking possession. It's like,
I can just imagine Danny and the pickup runs just like, no. No, they're like, what?
I'll grab a rebound every now and then, and they're like, hey! I'm like, no, man, we're actually going to get it like a decent look here. Because here's the thing. Most of you aren't Steph Curry, and there's a lot of bricks that go up in those games. And it's like,
I believe I am Steph Curry.
yeah, that's the problem is that, that people think that they are. And it's like, okay, let's chill out for a little bit.
And here's the thing that has helped Steph immensely during this journey that he has been on is that it obviously helps the analytics. 3 points being worth 50% more than 2-point attempts, right?
Yes.
Like it was like that coincided with him, but also having a coach that is the all-time leader in 3-point percentage in NBA history in Steve Kerr, nurturing that and saying, no, green light, go. Because Steph is not even like the best 3-point shooter percentage-wise in his own family.
No.
Seth is.
Yeah.
Seth is better over his career.
There's a bit of the
percentage-wise.
difference in the numbers, the
volume.
attempts.
Well,
Yes, the volume. Thank you.
It's volume, and it's your system, the guys you are around, and the coach that you have as well. And everything fell into line, but it really has. It has changed from youth basketball to the NBA, the way that teams and players approach the game. It's been crazy to think about because like he is not physically what LeBron James or Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan were. Those guys were like, even though Steph is not small to a normal person, in a league full of mutants, LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan, they were mutants.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like Steph doesn't get thrown into that top 5 player of all time. Well, I mean, I know Shaq is, but his impact on the game, it 100% is top 5 of all time.
Oh, no, I think there are a fair amount of people that would put Steph top 5 all time. Steve Kerr was actually asked that question the other day in a post-game press conference. He's like, I'm not going to get into that, but he's the greatest point guard of all time.
Okay, well, point guard.
Well, I mean, but also when you talk about point guards, you're talking about Magic Johnson. And Magic Johnson is very often in the top 5, top 10.
Yes.
Yeah,
and if
top 10.
If Magic's the top point guard,
Okay, start going top 5.
the top 5 for me, you can have it in any way.
Present them.
Of Jordan Braun. I'm not going to argue with you. I think you
I'm
can
not
make
going to
a
do that either.
case for either one of them.
You're a big Kobe guy, Carmelo.
Definitely not. Neither anywhere close to my top 10.
I'm just trying to trigger you.
There's that bear. Just poke it.
No.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq, Duncan,
Yep.
Bird, Magic, Russell, Wilt,
So say we still haven't gotten to Wilt or Kareem.
Kareem. I usually group them in like anywhere like
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, or 7, 6.
So
8,
we're getting
like
close
right
to
in that
10
number.
here before we mention Steph.
And well, no, and then I was going to say Steph.
Yeah, in that all of those guys physically different.
Yeah, all of them.
Different.
Yeah.
Steph, not. And that's the thing
that's
is
the
that
thing,
makes him so impactful.
Well, not only that,
incredible.
You can see yourself doing that, but also if you ever have the opportunity, if you're a Blazers fan or if you're somewhere else in the country and you have a chance to go watch Steph Curry play basketball, go watch him warm up.
Dude, it is an hour of just
The most
shot after shot.
insane things
And
you've ever seen.
This is what I tell every kid that is just chucking up threes is watch Steph warm up. He starts underneath the rim
And works his way out
and he works his way all the way back.
methodically.
It is not, I mean, I cringe to think of how many, I think it's his warm-up routine is like over 100 shots.
Oh, JJ Redick's what's it? It's 242. I think it's the number of his production company or whatever it is. It's the number of shots that he takes pregame. he went through the same routine. It's something like 200 something shots.
That's crazy, man.
It's absolutely. But again, when those type of
No,
guys,
I'm no mathematician, but I believe 242 would be 242.
yeah, I can't remember the exact number. If it's 242 or 216.
Look at Rust on Pi Day.
Yeah.
Putting out the math, bud.
That's
incredible.
what he does. And don't get me wrong, he has some fun. Like when he closes out his workouts, he'll shoot from the tunnel or sitting down from the bench, and he'll make them.
Because he's well warmed up.
Yeah. No, he does stuff every pregame that you just laugh.
Text at 503-864-6326. Who's the next closest in made three-pointers? I will give you your top 5. Mind you, Steph Curry has 4,000.
There might be a surprise in that top 5, too.
Number 5 is Klay Thompson at 2,667. Number 4 is Damian Lamont Ollie Lillard, senior, at not junior. He's not there yet. 2,794. Ray Allen is number 3 at 2,973. So Dame is like 200 off of him. Number 2, James Harden, the only other to cross over the 3,000 threshold, 3,127. So Steph is a long ways away.
He's Gretzky this thing.
873 more.
And he's probably got
number 2.
He's probably got 2, maybe 3 more years left in him.
Yeah. If you're looking at young guys on this list, Buddy Hield is 16th.
Buddy's going to go down as one of the best 3-point shooters in the history of the game.
He's
It's
at
actually kind of crazy.
2,093. He's at 16.
And I believe he's either 10 or 11th in percentage. I believe he's a career 40% 3-point shooter.
Would you be surprised to hear that this season, no, did they shut him down?
Who?
CJ?
Oh, CJ's up there, man.
No, did they shut him
No,
down?
he's still playing.
Okay. This season, he will be in the top 20 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
He has got 1,975. He is 21st. He is 3 away from Joe Johnson.
And he was never
It
a
just
guy
shows you
that
how
got-
much this game has changed.
Yeah, and well, not only that,
And-
CJ has never been a guy that got the volume of threes. That was one of the things of like, hey, take that step back, dude.
He will also likely pass Dirk Nowitzki and Jason Kidd this year, too.
The insane thing, the insane one on there is Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he
could
started out,
not
he couldn't
shoot
hit the broadside
at
of a
all.
barn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vince Carter's 10th.
Vince changing his career.
Top
It's-
10 in
it's-
threes and dunks.
It's one of the biggest like late career pivots in the history of the league.
Yeah.
It's insane that he was able to do that.
I'm looking down this list. There's nobody that's going to be marching up there anytime soon. All right.
It happens.
Yeah. Steph Curry, really good shooter. Not even the best shooter in his family, though,
Breaking news.
on percentage.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Steph Curry, really good.
We've made some bold claims today.
I like it.
We've
Chauncey
made some-
Billups not the best coach in the NBA. Steph
Yeah.
Curry,
Steph Curry, really good
really
shooter.
good shooter.
Yeah. Yeah.
More coming up next.
Doing the Lord's work here.
But up next is our worst day on the web, and we have 2 stories. We'll decide in the break which way we go. But ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a trip to Florida, and we're going to Florida the hell out of this thing. First is the Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
That's that Hawaiian burger joint.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, number 23 Oregon's run in the Big Ten tournament comes to an end with a loss to number 7 Michigan State, ending an 8-game win streak. Trailing by 10 at the half, they start half number 2 with an 11-2 run, closing it to 1 point, and then promptly give up a 15-0 run. 74-64 is your final. Nate Biddle, 22 points, 11 boards. TJ Bamba, the only other Duck in double figures. He had 11. Jace Richardson led the Sparties with 17. Trailblazers, a nice little break, still in the middle of it, as they are off until a Sunday matinee when they host the Raptors at Moda Center. Portland 28-39, 5 games back of the play-in with 15 left to play. They also own the 8th worst record in the league. Round 2 of the Players' Championship at the Stadium Course at TPC Sawgrass. You've got Minwoo Lee and Akshay Bhatia at the top of the leaderboard, 11 under par overall. They are 1 stroke clear of JJ Spawn. 2 strokes off the pace are Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa, and Stefan Jaeger. Scotty Scheffler, Ricky Fowler, Sepp Straka, they are all tied for 15th. 6 off the pace at 5 under par. Jordan Spieth 2 under, and currently Justin Rose, Hideki Matsuyama, Justin Thomas all at even par, which is currently the cut line. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The original home of the Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays 9 to noon, 1080 The Fan.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Granger's world-class supply chain.
It's time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Well, that sucks.
Today's worst day on the web is in the state of Florida. After staying away from Florida for quite some time, boy, are they beating the allegations. They're coming back strong. 2 stories today out of Florida. The first one, a woman decided to vandalize her ex's car after cheating. She got the wrong car.
Right, that is on brand. That is very much so on brand.
Oops. And for Dusty, he'll be able to see this. She spray painted the living bejesus out of it. I mean,
dude, that's something out of
from front to back.
That's something out of an Allstate Mayhem commercial. Like It's like mayhem.
With
She's just
bright
sprayed
yellow.
I could see the mayhem guy out there spray painting the car. I hate you, cheater. And then it's just some guy walks out. I was like, what happened in my car, man? Like, what is going on here? And maybe he walks out with his wife to their vehicle, and the wife's like, cheater, do you have something you want to talk to me about? And he's like, I didn't do anything. I have no idea who this woman is.
Also, how do you not know what
This
your
is
ex-boyfriend's car is or isn't?
I think crazy takes over, you know? Like when you have that level of crazy, you know, you just see red. There's nothing else to it.
Have you ever known anybody that's gone through something like that?
What?
Having somebody like maliciously like, oh my, like some sort of relationship revenge kind of thing like that?
I mean,
A jilted ex that
yeah,
did something
well,
crazy out of pocket?
yes. I had an ex that called me a year after I had broken up with her, and also a year after I had seen her, and told me that she was pregnant. And I said, congratulations. And she said, it's yours. I go, that's not possible.
Hold on, wait. Maury is saying you're not the father.
It's like, it's not even possible. I mean, unless you are like an elephant that has like
the
an
gestation period of an elephant.
So that was a conversation. And that's just like a situation where you go, yeah, glad I got out of that one. But I mean, I've known guys that have gotten their cars keyed. Stab you with the tires.
Oh,
Yeah, I've seen that.
that's
But
nasty.
it is. It's not good. It's not good.
It's nasty work, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never had anything like that happen.
No.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I had the very natural military thing.
What's
where
that?
When she cheated on me when I was overseas. But that's
That's not like the jilted lover
no,
thing,
that
though.
but that's its own bag of crazy.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
dude,
I think those are just the same type of people that are going to cheat anyways.
probably
Yeah.
probably saved me a lot of money.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So there's that out there.
I wonder what this guy did. I want to know who the guy is who just walked out to his car, though. The guy who cheated and got away with his car's just fine. I mean, he's probably just laughing
He
at
walks
this.
in. It's like, whoa,
What did
was
that
close.
guy do?
Yikes.
that was close.
And then
Wow, dude,
but
your girlfriend's crazier than mine.
The innocent dude is sitting there like, I don't even know where to start here.
Imagine if you're just the innocent bystander here, right?
Mm.
And you're like, let's say you're in a monogamous, very well going relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Does that woman now think, oh, he had a side piece and she found out about me? Or like, how many cans of worms does that open?
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying is like if he's married and his wife walks out and is like,
Yeah.
what are you, cheater? What are you talking
Yeah.
about? What is this about? I mean, this guy's got a lot to deal with right
Like,
now.
Hey, dude, I need you to come over here
Yeah.
and be like, no, this is my crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, it spilled out over onto you.
Okay. Hey, I'm just throwing this out here.
Mhm.
What if the dude is married?
Mm.
Okay. And his wife's like, what, cheater? What is this? And he's like, I don't even know. I'm just going to stay with the lie. And he's like, we got to call the cops on this.
Mm.
I don't know who this could be. And he knows very well who it could have been.
Mm.
He knows exactly who it was. He's like, I don't even know this woman.
Get bailed out by
I don't even know who she is.
Perfect.
And she's like, you know me. And he's like, this woman is certifiably crazy.
Yeah, stalker.
You know, that's what you
I need a
do.
restraining order.
That's what you do right there.
Well, we're going to go a step further with the crazy. Some Florida men were up in Tennessee at a gas station and robbed CBD oil with the use of snakes. They went into the gas station, what looks like a kind of a Buc-ee's kind of situation. It
Yeah,
doesn't
I'm
look
out
like
on these
you're-
guys.
They brought multiple pythons
Yeah,
in and
this is-
sat them on the counter and scared the crap out of people. And the employees there said they think they wanted to steal more, but there's too many people around. But they just kept bringing pythons in and putting them on the counter.
I tell you what, it sounds like those dudes really needed that CBD oil to chill the hell out.
This is why snake people. Nope.
Yeah,
Snake people scare me, man.
What do you think the Venn diagram looks like of snake owners versus trench coat owners?
I know somebody I know somebody who had like a ton of reptiles and snakes and stuff. Like
very Tom Green-esque.
No, they were really cool.
Oh,
they were yeah. They were really cool. But outside of them, none. Like anybody else that's on a snake, I'm like, you got a streak of you that will spray paint the wrong car.
I know some snake people that are pretty chill, but I know a couple people that they've gone through the process to get like venomous snakes, and I'm like, why on earth do you want something in your house that wants to kill you?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Like
I'm out. Yeah.
Like there's a guy on TikTok that does he's a reptile like houser kind of like and seller, reseller or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, here are my most venomous snakes. He's got like a boom slang. And I'm like,
go throw them in the ocean.
I'm like, isn't a boom slang the most venomous snake on the planet? Isn't there no it's that or one of like some other
Boom slang sounds like one of your heavy metal bands.
You're not wrong. Actually, I think they are.
That's like that had to have been his cover band's name.
No, we can say that on the radio.
Slang Boom.
Slang Boom, yeah. But like there's one of like the top 2 or 3 venomous snakes on the planet. There's no anti-venom for.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you selling this?
Straight cash, homie.
I guess.
I don't understand it.
You know what I mean? Like
snakes are scary, and like here's the thing about a snake. You can't play with it.
I mean, a lot of people do, in a sense.
You can take it for a walk. Like what? You just have it there in your little, enclosure, terrarium, and then they just sit there. I don't know. They don't have like a personality.
Well, it's the same thing with like fish too. They're just there.
Yeah, but
have you seen the mantis shrimp?
No.
It's got like its claw like folds up like a mantis does, but it is so fast and impactful. It is this like same force as a .22 rifle. And I'm like,
I'm out.
Why do you have an animal that can do that?
You never know when you're gonna have to.
And they basically
let it happen.
They
let it out.
They have like shrimp fights.
Yeah.
And they just toss things in there and watch it kill it with its gun arm.
I love this text. Had a crazy ex threaten to tell my then current girlfriend that we were still seeing each other. Yeah, that's crazy. Like that's some evil stuff.
Yeah. Hard pass. Okay, you have 2 doors and you have to choose. There is no door 3. Snake person or spider person?
Door 3.
Nope, not an option.
I guess I'm gonna go snake person.
I'm the same vein. Same vein.
Yeah. There's a dude in the dorms who had a scorpion, and he wasn't obviously supposed to have that scorpion.
No.
That scorpion got out, and he lost it.
Oh no.
That scorpion was not found.
We used to have scorpion fights overseas. We'd find. I mean, they'd be in your boots.
That tracks.
You had to check your boots regularly. I might have told this story before. I had a guy that really pissed me off, so I put a dead camel spider on his chest when he was asleep. Camel spiders is the size of a dinner plate. He woke up. He was terrified.
Wow,
of
we
spiders.
progressed a long way from the icy hot and the jockstrap, didn't we?
Well, it was dead. But he was deathly afraid of spiders. He may or may not have put scorpions in my boots.
I'm wondering. I'm just throwing this out here. You didn't have any crazy ex stories.
It's because they're gone.
I'm not wondering if that's because they have the crazy ex stories. Like, you just told a story like a guy you didn't like who was deathly afraid of spiders, so you did probably the worst thing you could do because he upset you.
I say I'm not proud of it,
but you are.
But I have the innate ability, whatever the thing is that I know
just spitball
will
here.
Terrify you, frustrate you, irritate you. If you cross a certain line with me, I don't work my way up to it. I hit the red button.
Yeah, I
And
know that about you. Yeah,
I just
yeah.
fatal flaw
Oh,
or a
man.
gift, whatever curse, whatever you want to say it is. I will know what that one thing is, and if you cross a certain line with me, I will just go to it.
This one hits pretty close to home on the old fan text line. Don't need a snake to have active murder in my house. I have a daughter about to hit puberty. And as the father of a 13-year-old and still married, yes, just wait till they sync up.
Yeah. Oh. Dang. All right.
That's tough. Come up next, Cincinnati Bengals. Maybe not cheap. Dating
Get it
Dusty,
down.
10 fan. Adam Schefter is reporting the Cincinnati Bengals are nearing a deal not only for Jamar Chase, but for T. Higgins as well.
Say what?
The deal for Jamar Chase, Adam Schefter is reporting, is going to break the record. So the
record-breaking offseason.
The twice broken record. First it was Max Crosby, 4 days later Myles Garrett, and now it appears Jamar Chase will sign at least a $40.1 million deal to make him the highest paid annual average salary player, non-quarterback, in the entire NBA. Or NBA in NFL.
Yeah. Look, good for Jamar Chase. Good for Joe Burrow. But back in 2024, he became extension eligible. Do you know who the highest average paid player was in the NFL of a non-quarterback? Just last year. Average annual salary. Remember, mind you, it's $40 million now.
And Crosby broke it at 35. So was it Jefferson?
It was Nick Bosa.
Was Nick? Okay.
When Jamar Chase became extension eligible, Nick Bosa was the highest average annual salary in the NFL.
33?
At $34 million per year. Because the Cincinnati Bengals were cheap then,
they
are now having to pay $6 million more per year for Jamar Chase. That is exactly all of the criticism of Cincinnati. This is why. You're paying $6.1 million more per year for a guy that if you just got it out of the way back then, you could have made it work. And you wouldn't be in the T. Higgins situation, too. They very well may be paying $70 million a year for their 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, here's the flip side of this.
Yikes.
You could have saved probably $10 million
Yeah.
had you done these deals a year ago.
Yeah.
Had you just not been cheap a year ago.
That's bonkers, dude.
Which means if you restructure Burrow's deal, you have more money to work with.
Yeah.
And maybe you can keep Trey Hendrickson.
And that still is going to happen.
Well, I know, but you would have had more room to work with.
It's one of the craziest things that we're seeing right now is the Cincinnati Bengals and their stupidity to put money into their product that is actually good after several years of being so bad.
Look, I get it, you not wanting to do it with a player who does it once or twice.
Yeah.
I get that. You can make an actual argument that Jamar Chase is the best wide receiver in the NFL. If you want to say Justin Jefferson, fine. I'm a Jamar Chase guy.
Yeah. They played on the same college team.
Who's their quarterback?
Joe Burrow.
Okay. The idea...
Even Ed Orgeron can win a national title with them.
This whole idea, though, of... There's been this pivot in the NFL where you used to wait and wait and wait and get whatever you could out of it. That's not the case anymore.
That's wrong.
You need to get it done early. If you've got a guy that is a no-doubt top 3, top 4 guy at their position, you need to get it done early.
Because you're going to pay him more later.
Because the cap's supposed to go up another massive jump again next year, right?
I don't think it's supposed to be
as much.
Not nearly as much.
But
no.
Isn't it projected to be somewhere around like 10, 11% again?
Yeah. And then when they add an 18th game, it's going up even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it does
Which makes those contracts more valuable if you sign them before that.
It sounds like it is going to be that 18th game is going to happen. So the cap is going to skyrocket. And that's why some teams say it doesn't matter when you do it, eventually it will be a deal and you're just going to have to go through the hard part at some point, because if you pay Jamar Chase $6 million more on an average annual salary and you do it last year as opposed to this year, cap isn't nearly as big, but at the same time, you could just year one is a signing bonus year. You could rework it, and it really wouldn't hit you until the next year anyways. So,
and you smooth it out because you know it's going
stupid.
up because it's the NFL.
Yeah, yeah.
And as the cap goes up, and if you do restructure somebody's deal, you have more space to work it into.
Yep.
Now, the flip side of this is we also know when you have the guaranteed money stuff, it's escrow.
That's right,
and that's part of the problem here is that
throw it into account
that they are the brokest of broke boys in the NFL. The Bengals are quite literally at the bottom. They do not have a billionaire owner, so you have And everybody sees like, oh, what's somebody's net worth? It's like, no, buddy, you got to have liquid straight cash, homie.
That includes the value of the team.
Yeah. Straight cash, homie.
Oh, man. All right. Well, way to go, Bengals. You bungled it again.
Yeah. And they're probably going to lose Hendricks out of it.
Never change.
God, so dumb. All right, coming up in hour number 3, want to revisit a couple different things. The Ducks fall to the Michigan State Spartans, but also, speaking of salary, baseball calling for a salary cap? Danny Dusty, Danny the Fan.
You wouldn't know it.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust here with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, number 23 Oregon's run in the Big Ten tournament comes to an end with a loss to number 7 Michigan State, ending an 8-game winning streak. Trailing by 10 at the half, they start half number 2 with an 11-2 run, closing it to 1 point, and then they promptly give up a 15-0 run. 74-64 is your final. Nate Biddle, 22 points, 11 rebounds. TJ Bamba, the only other Duck in double figures. He had 11 points. Jace Richardson led Sparty with 17. The Trailblazers, in the middle of a nice little break, they're off until a Sunday matinee hosting the Raptors at Moda Center. Blazers are 28-39, 5 games back of the play-in with 15 games left to play. They also own the 8th worst record in the league. Head coach Chauncey Billups says Jabari Walker is in the concussion protocol. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting the Bengals working on long-term deals with wide receivers Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Chase's deal expected to carry an annual value of $40 to $41 million, Higgins already tagged with the franchise tag, but the total for the two expected to reach or exceed $70 million per year in total. Round 2 of the Players' Championship at the stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Minwoo Lee, Akshay Bhatia are your leaders at 11 under par. They're both in the clubhouse, as is JJ Spawn. He is 1 stroke off the pace. Those at 9 under par, 2 strokes back, Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa, and Stefan Jaeger. We got Sepp Straka tied for 11th at 6 under par. Scotty Scheffler, Ricky Fowler tied for 17th at 5 under. Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth 2 under par, and Justin Rose tied for 68th at even par, which is the current cut line. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The ultimate basketball party, Fan Madness, is back. March 20th and 21st at the Stadium Sports Bar at A Sportsbook. More info at 1080thefan.com. This is Danny and Dusty.
It's not your problem, Doc. You don't have to mix up in this.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
With Danny Meringue and Dusty, the Fan Man Hera.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
I'm your huckleberry.
The Fan.
Hour number 3 here on Danny and Dusty on a Friday afternoon. Whether you're listening on 1080 AM, watching along on youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan or twitch.tv/1080 AM The Fan. We appreciate you. We love you. We love you so much. We want you to join us for our annual basketball party. It's back. George McCoy at Warren Allen Attorneys at Law presents Fan Madness Thursday and Friday up at the Stadium Sports Bar at A Sportsbook, March 20th and 21st. All the shows will be up there running live on location, having a grand old time. It's the top location for the 2 best days of tournament basketball. Fan Madness is also brought to you by Coors Light and Video Only. Make every buzzer beater, bracket buster, and Cinderella run mean more at A Sportsbook. Join us for Fan Madness with more info at 1080thefan.com. I am so looking forward to that. 3 days off from Blazers basketball gives us a great opportunity to dive into college basketball ahead of the tournament. Where
Dang right.
You can join us up there next week. The Oregon Ducks, in the early game, take on the Michigan State Spartans. And it's not a Cinderella run falling short, but a great run from the Ducks, playing great basketball at the best possible time to be playing that basketball. Falling in a game to the Spartans, who are the number 1 seed in the Big Ten, and rightfully so. They are a damn good team, Dusty.
Dude, Michigan State has got all the markers of the great Tom Izzo teams, and they are balanced offensively. They don't need to rely on one guy where you live and die by one guy's ability to score because they have balance doing it. Now, do they have really good players? Yeah, Jace Richardson is phenomenal, man. He's been one of those guys who's been slowly but steadily emerging. They suffocate you on defense because they're so damn physical. And when you get into games like that, you play physical on the other end of the floor, and all of a sudden your guys start getting into foul trouble because they're aggressive downhill, getting to the rim and getting to the free throw line. And it is a throwback style, but it's like something that Izzo thrives off of. And when he's got a group like he does right now where he plays 10 dudes, like he just throws shifts at you like it's hockey, and they do a line change and they're jumping over the wall and they're going to beat the hell out of you. That's a team that can make a run in the tournament, and they're every bit deserving of a 2 seed. Hell, they may work their way up into a 1 seed based on what happens in conference tournament action, because I know that Lenardi has like 3 of the 4 teams being 1 seeds from the SEC. That could change in an instant.
Look, right now, Texas is down 8 to Tennessee. Texas is the 13th seed. They have to win this game if they are going to make the tournament.
Do you see there's people in the SEC that are saying they deserve 14 teams in?
It sounds like they're going to get 13.
I know, but we went over this too, and it's mind-blowing when you look at their non-conference
if Texas makes
schedules.
the final, they will get 14 in.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling, isn't it?
It was... Well, right now, I think Lenardi, they just flashed it. Lenardi changes his bracketology
as games go
on.
Yep.
He has Texas as one of the last 4 in. And what they do with and Texas played a tough non-conference. They actually did play a tough non-con. The fudging of the numbers that they have with their non-conference schedules, they play the net rating to perfection. And it's not like what they're doing is against the rules. They just game the system. And it's going to be because when that happens and you have teams that go through non-conference and they have good records in their non-conference schedule, inevitably in the world of college basketball, in the world of college sports, you have upsets that happen where a team has no business beating another.
And this is where it happens usually in tournaments.
Well, in the regular season when it happens, though, you look at it and say, South Carolina, not good this year. They knocked off, they may have beaten Texas at some point this year.
I think they did.
But they knocked somebody off. But when you play a weak non-conference schedule, guess what happens? It's like you start looking at it and say, well, they took care of their business. Well, I think when we went over it, all of the bubble teams or teams that were 6 seeds or higher in the tournament, they had an average non-conference strength of record or schedule of 193rd. 193rd.
Yeah, and they did knock off Texas.
Yeah, but when that happens, and South Carolina has a good non-conference record, not who they played, but their results from it, it buoys you up a little bit more.
For reference, South Carolina lost 13 straight games.
Yep. But it doesn't make that loss for Texas look that bad when they pile up 8 or 9 wins in non-conference play, because who was their non-conference schedule?
Non-con, North Florida, South Carolina State, Towson, Mercer, Virginia Tech.
Oh, Virginia Tech, where one of their best players said, everybody thought we were going to be ass this year. And, well, we were still ass, but we weren't as bad as people thought. That team?
Quote of the year.
Quote of the year. Toby Lawal. I love that guy. And I tweeted this out. I believe this about Toby Lawal. That man is going to thrive at ruining Thanksgiving dinners. Because, he's going to say something that is wildly offensive, but he's going to say it in a way where it's like, he didn't mean that but so he'll get invited back to the next Thanksgiving dinner, but it's going to ruin that year. And then there'll be a couple years where it's like, all right, Toby, you need to rail it in, man. You need to reel this thing in.
He's a great grenade tosser.
Yeah. And every family has them. And
South Carolina was 2-16 in SEC play this year. One of those wins was against Texas.
And that means they were 10-4 in non-conference play.
Their other win was against Arkansas, who is just beat to hell.
Yep. And that's how it happens. Right there. I mean, you play the bottom of the barrel in your non-con, and their crossover with the ACC Challenge or whatever, they played Virginia Tech and Boston College. I mean, it's brilliant what the SEC does, though. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, they do it in football and basketball. They protect the weak and they highlight their strengths and hope that's good enough for everybody else, because it's a rising tide for all boats.
Yeah. Boston College, by the way, 12-19.
Yeah, not
it's smart.
It is.
It's what they do. I can't knock it, but they're going to get 14 teams in likely.
Let's not forget the win that they had against South Carolina Upstate.
I've heard a lot about real Upstate. That's not even that takes directional schools to a different level. It's it's just Upstate. It could be.
Do directional schools look down at Upstate?
Nah, we welcome them.
You're welcoming up. Were you welcoming up as a direction?
Yeah.
Motion to grant access to the directional schools.
Yeah.
Up as a direction.
The University of New York, Upper East Side.
Yeah. I mean, that's
2 directions, up and east.
Yeah. I'm not gonna direction shame.
Up sounds like a direction you would get from Southern Oregon.
Yeah.
Just go up, go up.
I mean, I'm just thinking of Oregon downstate. I mean, that's a double direction you have in South Carolina upstate.
Right.
Because, I mean, you got some real dumb kids. They're going to get confused by that.
South Carolina
but upstate. So it's super southern North Carolina
does
state.
Does that mean it's in the middle of South Carolina?
Maybe. I don't know. I bet it's a beautiful campus.
What if they were Southern Carolina upstate? Which Carolina are you in?
But you have to do the upstate because you can't be like South Carolina State.
Or could you?
No.
Yeah. Northern South Carolina State. Southern North Carolina State.
Yeah.
Is there
Southern South Carolina State?
Ooh.
Well, and which Carolina is Western
South?
Carolina in, or Eastern Carolina?
Yes.
East, exactly.
Western Carolina is in North Carolina.
I'm proud to announce my commitment to East Dakota State.
Let me see.
This sounds like a Key and Peele sketch.
Let's see where Western Carolina is.
I'm going to say
North Carolina. Yeah.
West always just sounds better.
Cool.
East Carolina, or East everything always sounds like, I always think of, I don't know why, the lesser.
Well, as a card-carrying member of the Eastern Oregon University Haters Club, I agree with you.
How many?
The old Cheech Marin movie, Born in East LA.
Hell yeah.
How many?
That's a great movie.
How many Easts are good?
I don't know.
Well, being from the best coast.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's probably some West Coast buys in there, but it
Eastern
is what it is.
Illinois. They gave us Tony Romo and Jimmy Garoppolo.
There you go.
That
is actually pretty
Are those
impressive.
scoring the points we think they are?
I mean, yeah. That's what I mean,
It's like the hottest quarterback in the NFL by looks, but
not by performance.
No, dude. Bank account and looks, Jimmy G, pretty good.
pretty good. Hard to beat.
And didn't Tony Romo date Carrie Underwood? Didn't he date
Probably.
Carrie Underwood?
Look, I'll say, I think Tony Romo is probably also an alumnus of the Lank Thompson School for Handsome Men.
Yes,
it's helpful,
dude. You can Google. They have Carrie Underwood and Jessica Simpson for Tony Romo.
Look, I mean, it's not Derek Jeter's list, but that ain't bad.
Yeah.
Hashtag fruit basket.
And Candace Crawford.
I'm assuming that's a good Google.
I'm doing it right now.
That's not Cindy's
No
kid, is it?
No. She's 38. Oh, they're married.
There you go.
She was a former television reporter.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. Tony Romo. Eastern Illinois has given us Romo and Jimmy G. I think that's good enough.
So it's the best of the Leasterns.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay. Well, I speaking of Jimmy Garoppolo, LA Ram now, right?
Yes.
The Rams have let go of Cooper Kupp, and we may have an understanding of where Cooper Kupp may or may not end up. We'll get to that and some more NFL news and notes coming up here next on Danny
John
Dusty.
Malkovich went to Eastern Illinois?
Danny Dusty, fan.
There's your handsome guy.
The
Is it safe to say Cooper Kupp is the last domino to fall of the big name acquisitions in the offseason? With I guess Aaron Rodgers.
What happens with Trey Hendrickson too? Another Eastern, a pride of Eastern Washington.
There you go. You know what? I will give Cooper the definitely not Leastern.
And we have slept on Eastern Illinois our entire. I've just been looking up Eastern Illinois alums. It's incredible. Mike Shanahan, he's on that list. You have
Get right the hell out of town.
Mike Shanahan. Yeah, Mike Shanahan on that list. Also, Jerry Van Dyke, Luther Van Dam, defensive coordinator, Minnesota State Screaming Eagles from the show Coach.
And I dare anybody to call him the lesser Van Dyke.
Yeah,
I think we're on a 1 and 1A there.
Randy Myers, 4-time All-Star pitcher, New York Mets. I think he went to Evergreen High School in Vancouver.
Yeah.
How about that? And then, of course, the Duck, Kevin Duckworth, Eastern Illinois.
Big Duck.
I think we've been sleeping on Eastern Illinois, and I'm glad that we had this conversation. But to your original question, yeah, Cooper Kupp is the last big domino to fall.
Mike Heimerdinger.
That's right.
Also Eastern. And Sean Payton.
Yeah. We said that in the last segment. Yeah, we got him
Good
in the
God,
last
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah.
Good God. Shanahan and Payton?
Ron, are you paying attention? Nope.
Yeah.
No,
it's a pretty good list.
That one went in one ear out the other.
Pretty good list. And two sexy quarterbacks in Tony Romo and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Where is Charleston, Illinois?
Good question. I'm not up on my geography of. I'm guessing it's in the eastern part of the state, though.
I'm going to go based off of my knowledge from when I got my fake ID in college.
Yeah.
And said I was from Springfield. And the guy at the Capital Market asked me where it was. And I said, I don't know, like South Central.
Okay, so it's basically looks like it's a halfway
You weren't
point.
totally wrong.
I mean, it is Eastern. It's south of Champaign, but it's basically smack dab between Springfield and Indianapolis. But so Champaign is in the direct straight line between the two. Eastern Illinois University in Charleston.
Sure.
Charleston is like down south off that line.
All right.
So there you go. There's your geography lesson.
Knowing our Illinois geography.
There you go. Speaking of geography, where the hell is Cooper Kupp going to end up?
Boy, this is the big question. Reports this morning from every big newsbreaker was that today would be the day we're going to find out where Cooper Kupp is going to land. And Seattle is an obvious choice. They have room to sign him in the range with salary cap space. They need another wide receiver. You add him to that receiver room, and it starts to make sense. The Cowboys also emerged as a team that would make sense for Cooper Kupp. And a lot of folks are saying that has cooled, but
there's a tie there.
There is a big tie there, and it is former Oregon wide receiver coach Junior Adams. Junior Adams was the guy who recruited, developed Cooper Kupp at Eastern Washington. He is now the receivers coach under Schottenheimer in Dallas, and those two guys, they love each other.
Yeah, and apparently even after Cooper was a pro, and Adams was at Washington, he said, this guy's going places. He's going to go to the highest
He said he's
level.
going to be a professional football coach. And so you have that tie there, but the range is like $13 to $14 million a year, and Dallas isn't able or willing to go that high right now, according to the reports that are out there. But it does seem like it's a two-team race. That doesn't mean that those are the only two teams that are going to land or have the potential to land Cooper Kupp, because there is a lot of buzz out there that, hey, maybe Jacksonville makes a run, or maybe the Chargers come back in and they say, hey, just move across the street here. They added Mike Williams, so their receiver room looks like Devontae Adams, Mike Williams, Ladd McConkey right now. That seems like it's pretty good, and they may be done with that. But do your Raiders come knocking? Right now, Vegas has 15-2 odds, plus 750 for the Raiders to get him.
I'd be perfectly fine with that. I mean, if you get him somewhere between $12-14 million,
Yeah.
Again, stopgap guys. Like that's getting a professional organization running.
Yeah.
Like that's what you do.
Let's see. Oh, thank God. Chiefs are 14-1. That would have been the scary one.
Yeah.
Like that would have been the scary one for me, is that
Him and Kelsey running rub routes.
all of the underneath stuff with those two guys, and then you have Xavier Worthy stretching vertically like, I don't like it. But he'd have to go dirt cheap.
No, that's speaking of not liking it. That Xavier Worthy story that happened over a couple days ago. That's crazy.
I have not read up on that too much because initially he was arrested for domestic violence,
and
then
not
no
charged.
no charges were filed, and then now we have all of the information is starting to leak out.
It sounds like she was attempting to extort and blackmail him, and he couldn't get her out of the house.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, but he broke up with her like 2 weeks prior and couldn't get her out of the house. It sounds like when you're talking about
She
crazy
just started
exes,
squatting, like squatters' rights on the house.
basically.
Oh,
Apparently, she ripped some of his dreads out. Yeah.
That's a nasty story. I don't like that.
No. Look, always wait until all the facts come out, but it sounds like this was more of a she's crazy situation than a Ray Rice-esque situation.
Right.
Which is, again, why charges appear at this point in time for why they weren't filed. One more NFL news note situation. We're getting a little bit of information of why, or a contributing factor to why Joey Bosa decided to sign with the Bills. And this is why having your big gun be a big part of the recruiting mechanism. Reporting is out now that Josh Allen texted Joey Bosa and said that they will both be immortalized if they win a Super Bowl.
I love that Josh Allen is doing that. Like when you hear about the great quarterbacks, they go out and they become the recruiters of the organization. But it's the ones that have that ability to be the closer and to land, right? Mahomes does this, and he does it ridiculously well. Brady did it, right? Josh Allen knows he's not going to be able to do it alone, right? And these one-year rentals, you've got to be able to connect and go through. And like, it wasn't just a text from Josh Allen to Joey Bosa that was like, we're going to be legends and we'll be immortalized, right? That's not the only text that was sent there, right? But Bosa's like, I'm in. Let's roll. Let's get some statues and let's go jump through some tables. And that's exactly what they
don't let them jump through tables.
A Joey Bosa on that defense. They've got holes. They've got to get over the Kansas City hump. A guy like Bosa's an unbelievable way to do it, especially when Von Miller was that guy who came to do the same thing that Bosa did and was unsuccessful in doing it. And he's aging out. Or he did age out.
I love that he's the hired gun that landed in Buffalo. It was the one of the few moves this offseason that I really wanted to see. It felt like a just hand in glove fit.
Yep, it does.
It's so rare that you're like, yeah, that's the fit, and then it doesn't.
Except
that
for
it actually happens.
Him just being in cold weather and injuries that happen in cold weather.
Just keep him away from the tables, man. Keep him away from the tables.
Just keep his snap count low.
That's all I want.
Keep his snap count low.
All right, coming up next. Look, they developed the technology for nuclear bombs in Roswell, New Mexico, but it sounds like one may be dropping a little closer in the desert with the Phoenix Suns. We'll get to that and more coming up here next on Danny and Dusty. But first, here's the Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
You mind if I have some of your tasty beverage to wash this down?
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, number 23 Oregon's run in the Big Ten tournament comes to an end with a loss to number 7 Michigan State, ending their 8-game winning streak. Trailing by 10 at the half, they start the second half with an 11-2 run to close it to 1 point and then promptly give up a 15-0 run. 74-64 is your final. Nate Biddle, 22 points, 11 rebounds. TJ Bamba, the only other Duck in double figures with 11 points. Jace Richardson led the Spartans with 17. No surprise here after seeing his ankle injury yesterday against Georgia Tech, but Duke star Cooper Kupp officially out for tonight's ACC semifinal against UNC. The Trailblazers, in the middle of a nice little break, they're off until a Sunday matinee when they host the Raptors at Moda Center. Currently 28-39 on the season, 5 games back of the final play-in spot with 15 games left to play. They also own the 8th worst record in the league. Round 2 of the Players' Championship at the Stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Minwoo Lee, Akshay Bhatia, both in the clubhouse. They both had 6 under rounds of 66 today, leaving them at 11 under par overall. JJ Spawn is 1 stroke back at 10 under. Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa tied for 4th at 9 under par. Sepp Straka 7 under. Scotty Scheffler, Ricky Fowler tied for 17th at 5 under par. Justin Thomas 3 under. Jordan Spieth is 2 under par. Justin Rose and Hideki Matsuyama, they sit at even par overall, but it looks like the cut line has moved up to 1 under, so they are currently on the outside looking in. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now, Window Nation brings you on-demand videos. Watch Window Nation's window into 1080 The Fan.
Season's not even over yet for the Phoenix Suns, and already their owners have to come out, Matt Ishbia, and say, no, we are fully committed to Devin Booker. Devin Booker, no, I never want to be traded. Da, 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 da. Look, I will tell you, behind the scenes, in the NBA, whether it's media, whether it's scouts, whether it's coaches, whether it's rival front offices, Kevin Durant's gone. Everyone is operating under the auspices that Kevin Durant is gone. And there's a few front offices that I've talked to who've said, why? Why? You're not going to get what you got back for him. Like, the Beal deal was bad, and they're stuck with it, and it is what it is. But when you actually get down to it, the deal that everybody thinks that the Suns should not have done was the Durant deal because of how much they gave up. You gave up Cam Johnson. You gave up Mikal Bridges. You gave up draft capital. Mikal Bridges ended up getting traded for 6 first-round picks. If you had kept the core of that team together and made some moves around the edges, if you decide 2 years later to move on from Mikal Bridges, could you have been the team to send him to the East and get 6 first-round draft picks? Could you trade Cam Johnson for 2 first-round draft picks? Could you have done something else or been a team that he's not asking out, but I'm saying if it did, if you make this move and you have all this draft capital, could you make the move if Giannis asks out? What if Paulo and Franz in Orlando doesn't work out and you go make a move for Franz Wagner? A guy who's younger and keeps you going longer and makes sense for you long-term without having to expend all this capital. I say all this because if you talk about all the paths and new ownership and all the things that everybody always wants to talk about, they have nothing. They have exhausted every avenue, and they're hoping and praying that they can get something back for Kevin Durant to hold on, because Matt Ispia says, we have Devin Booker in his prime. You have to have a superstar in his prime to compete. What the hell else do you have? You have no young players. Ryan Dunn's fine, but you have no young players that give you anything extra. What the hell do you do if you trade Kevin Durant for a couple picks and an okay young player? Where are you?
But I mean, at least you have Devin Booker. Right? At least you have Devin. And that's what he's saying, is that future would look a lot brighter as far as like knowing that with the way the table is set right now, they can't add any other pieces around the roster that they have, because you have the bloated contract of Bradley Beal. Mm-hmm. You have, rightfully so, 2 very high contracts for Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And you know that if you have all of those things, you can't bring anybody else to supplement it. And your pick is going to Houston. Like, your pick is going to Houston, right? Mm-hmm. This year.
Unprotected.
So when you're looking at that, you're going, there's no other way that they can make this roster better for next year with Kevin Durant. It's not going to work with the 3 that you have right now. So moving Durant and saying, all right, that could be the best chance that we have to eventually build some support around Devin Booker. I can see that.
But even then, you don't have.
But you're in a lose-lose.
You don't have the thing.
But you're going to create some sort of assets in getting Kevin Durant.
You're not going to get the premium assets, though. I mean, that's just the reality. Remember, Kevin Durant was drafted in the same year as Greg Oden.
I know. Yeah.
And Gio's coming back to the building as an old man.
Yeah. Well, he was an old man then.
Yeah, he did look like one.
That's true.
They are in a worse situation, but very similar to what the Blazers were in with Dame. They have nothing left to work with. Nothing. And the assets that you're going to get back from Durant are not enough to go build a title contender. And Devin Booker has said, I want to be here my whole career, all the things. And then this is not a shot at Dame, because things change. Dame did want to be here. He wanted to be here. Yep. One team, all his career, all those things. When it's all said and done, he's going to live here like he is Portland through and through. This is his home. But watching him go through those changes over those last couple of years, you knew it. And he's flat out said that had he done it again, they would have done it earlier.
Yeah.
Because at that point in time, the writing was basically on the wall. And I think if you gave the front office true serum, they would have done it earlier, because it would have been a better return for them. And if you're the Suns, you're staring down the same barrel.
I don't think there's a truth serum in the world that would have convinced Neil O'Shea to do that.
Oh, God, no. Well,
no.
I think he'd trade him before he traded CJ. Which is insane.
You mentioned Phoenix is in a really bad spot. So is Philly, though. Philly might be in a worse spot with Paul George now consulting with doctors.
He's going to get shut down.
And look, their situation is brutal, too, because their first-round pick goes to Oklahoma City unless they're in the top 6.
Top 6 protected.
What if this happens? What if Cooper Flagg says, Washington, Charlotte, I'm not going to play for you.
But Philly?
No. Oklahoma City is at the 7th pick because they get that. And Oklahoma City goes, we will give you
5 firsts.
All of our firsts that we have available to us. All of them.
Because
if you get Cooper Flagg, you don't need a single one of those picks that you have gotten. No. And you say, we're going to give you every single one of our war chest of picks, and you can have the 7th pick, whatever our pick is this year.
What you do is you go, we will give you 5 firsts, 6 firsts. Pick which ones you want.
Yeah. And
you can have literally all of them.
All of whatever you want.
Whatever 6 picks you want.
Mm-hmm. And
I believe they own 17 over the next 5 years.
Because that guy ain't going to go play for you. And we don't need these picks if we have that guy. Does that move Washington or Charlotte?
It kind of becomes the same situation that OKC found themselves in when they dealt Paul George, because they had the one thing that the Clippers needed to bring Kawhi. That's one thing everybody needs to remember. Like, OKC is so smart. No, they had the one player that was going to land them Kawhi. That's why that's important. And they basically got to pick what they wanted in order to make the deal facilitate, because for the Clippers, it wasn't about getting Paul George. It was about getting Paul George and Kawhi.
Yeah.
Where in this situation, it'd be like, hey, Cooper's not going to come to you.
Yeah. Because just this year's draft alone.
God, that'd be terrifying.
They could have Miami's first-round pick. They have a pick swap with Houston or the Clippers. They have Philly's top 6 protected pick. They're not going to get Utah's. And then they have their own first-round pick. So they got 3 this year.
I think you'd want to take just the most valuable of those. So you'd want to take the Philly pick if it popped 7 or 8 or whatever.
You get. But if you are Washington and Charlotte, do you bite on that, or do you dare Cooper Flagg not to come?
I think number one, you dare Cooper Flagg not to come, but beyond that, I go, you make it 4 firsts and Jalen Williams. That's what I'd do. In that exact situation, I would go, and if you're OKC, you should.
You go, all right.
You should.
Yeah.
I love J-Dub. I think he's a hell of a player. My belief of Cooper Flagg, I've said this so many times. I have never been more sure of a player being great outside of, LeBron Wemby than I am of Cooper Flagg.
That would be wild.
Could you?
They would go
hopes of
SGA.
Oh God.
Cooper Flagg, Chet Holmgren. Just those 3 win you, and then you'd have Lou Dort.
Caruso,
Cason
Wallace, Kenrich Williams.
I mean, you would have
Isaiah Joe.
You'd have a hole at the 4.
No, Chet's your 4.
Okay, well then are you gonna put Hartenstein at the 5? Start him at the 5.
That's your 5. I mean, so you would probably roll out Shea, Dort, Coop, Chet, Hartenstein. Good God!
Yeah, you're gonna win a lot of games.
The worst defender in that lineup is SGA, and he's a very good defender.
With the other Jalen Williams as your backup.
That's your one of your rotation bigs, and Kenrich Williams is like your other kind of quasi backup wing.
To be honest, you can take your pick of free agents that would go there ring chasing.
Yeah.
To backfill your roster. Oof. Yeah.
And you'd have all the cap space in the room because J-Dub's on a bigger deal and Coop's on a rookie deal.
As I was reading all the Paul George stuff, I was going,
God.
I wonder if OKC could make a play to get him.
If anybody
that's
could,
how they do
it's
it.
Them.
But that's how they do it, is if Philly, which is trying to tank because they know they've got to get that in the top 6 or they're really duped. They need to get into the top 6. If they land at 7, Oklahoma City could potentially land Cooper Flagg.
I don't even think
Thanks, I hate it.
I don't think that's the case because the number 7 pick, it's good. It's not. If it was top 5, you'd be like,
but it's everything else.
But I think the fact that they have all the draft capital,
it's not just 7. It's everything else,
and they could put a guy like J-Dub in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this timeline.
Yeah,
it's gross.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of timelines people don't like, there's a very broke boy owner in the Major League Baseball who doesn't like that the Dodgers are spending all that money. Danny Dustyton, the Fan. As we get out of here on a Friday afternoon, we love calling out the broke boys. Colorado Rockies owner Dick Monfort believes Major League Baseball needs a salary cap because the Dodgers spend too much money. He says something's got to happen. The competitive imbalance in baseball has gotten to the point of ludicrosity now. It's an unregulated industry.
Big word.
I mean, come on. You haven't paid anybody. You sent your 2 best players in your franchise's last 30 years to the Cardinals for pennies. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Also, thank you.
Yeah. Well, you guys have done a lot with them.
Is there a salary floor, too?
Well, that's what
Unreal.
he's saying is that with the cap comes a salary floor, and he was honest about it. He's like, we need to get to the salary floor. But what he's saying is that the discrepancy of the funds that are available, $300 million for the Dodgers for their payroll this year, that is crazy, and that is wild. But that doesn't, mean that you just don't have to spend. They signed 3 players for a combined $10.5 million this year. No, don't do that. And he's saying we need, a larger revenue sharing program. And this is the problem with Major League Baseball owners, is that they don't like to spend.
No.
And
the ones that do win. There's a straight correlation to spending and success.
But there's also, teams will take shortcuts to do it, and they've curtailed tanking in baseball.
Yes.
And we saw that with the White Sox this year, who were unable to win the number 1 overall pick because they had
blocked out of the top 4?
Yeah, I think it may
top
be
4,
even
top
bigger
5.
than that. But the fact is, develop your talent and hoard your money until you're ready to go. They're not developing any talent though. That's the biggest
And the
issue.
talent that is there, they let go for nothing every time.
Like every team that has crawled out of it and got into competitiveness has done it and done it with a reasonably priced roster. It's reasonably priced at the beginning, and then they say, all right, it's time to win. We need to pay up.
Orioles and Padres.
Orioles,
both of them.
Padres, Astros, the Cubs did it when they won their World Series. That is
with
the
their
blueprint.
own homegrown talent, and then they paid them.
And you're gonna start seeing it with teams like the Tigers they're gonna start getting there.
Yeah.
It's
just
there is a way to
sick
do
and
it.
Tired of them crying about this stuff.
They just don't want, and especially in that division, there's no way for the Giants, Diamondbacks, and Rockies to compete from a salary standpoint, and they know it, right? So they're upset about it. But the reality of it is, it doesn't mean that you just go straight bottom of the barrel with your roster.
No, but beyond that, it's not like the Dodgers have done this always. There was a long stretch of time where the Dodgers were not that good.
Yeah, you're right.
And what were you doing then? Paying Troy Tulowitzki, and that was it.
That was it. Because they can't have pitchers because of thin air.
Get bats.
Get bats, baby. All right. That does it for us this week.
What a great week.
What a great week. And next week's tourney week, baby.
It is Selection Weekend, baby.
Let's go. Selection Sunday coming up. Blazers play on Selection Sunday.
Sunday at 3. Nice little matinee game. And then they check your schedules because there's schedules out there that are still not correct. The Blazers play a back-to-back.
Oh.
They play on Monday now, not Tuesday, because the adjustment for the wildfires, that a bunch of schedules got changed.
Bazinga. All right, we'll be back Monday from noon to 3. Up next, you got 4 hours of power from their mouths to your ears. It's prime time with Ice Skin Souk with a special guest, Joey Harrington, and the tease of the century. How fast can the man power walk a 40? Woo. Inquiring minds are wondering. All right, we'll see you later.
Bye. Soup you can suck on.
You just put in your mouth and suck on them.
I'm not doing the nasty stuff.
Boing.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver.